As most of you guys know, we are approaching Samhain, or as most of us know it as Halloween.
I don't really expect you to pronounce our holidays correctly. I mean, I can't pronounce any of your holidays, but it's pronounced Samhain.
And this time of year right now, the preparations for this holiday by Satanists are happening right now, and a lot of abductions happen during this time. A lot of workings against believers happen during this time, and they continue all the way till Samhain, really throughout the whole year. But Samhain is a big day for human sacrifice.
No, it is not. I don't know where you're getting this information. I'm going to assume that you are just pulling it out of your ass.
And all kinds of different stuff. And a lot of people don't believe this stuff happens.
That's because it doesn't happen.
Because I guess they're blinded by...
You mean empirical truth and actual evidence? Yes, that's what they're blinded by.
Just the stuff that they only see in everyday life.
Abduction of children by Satanists or occultists or witches have been proven to be wrong. McMartin preschool case, false. Oak Hill, false. The West Memphis 3, the occult involvement, false. All of these things have been proven over and over and over again as false.
But I wanted to read a couple quotes. These are from, none of these quotes are going to make you feel good. None of these estimates are going to make you feel good. But I'm going to read these, not estimates, but stats. I'm going to read these stats really quick. Every 40 seconds, a child goes missing in the United States. Every year, more than 800,000 children are missing in the United States. Of 692,944 people reported missing in 2010, 531,928 were under the age of 18. And it is estimated that at least 8 million children worldwide go missing each year. And these are some quotes from some famous serial killers.
So hold on one second, John Pounders, before we get into these quotes, and let's look at this data. So all of my links are below. This one is from the Slate, where it breaks down this number. News reports cited a statistic that 800,000 children disappear every year, or about 2,000 a day. Seriously, how reliable are these numbers? For officials, the total number includes those who fall into several different categories: family abduction, non-family abduction, runaways, throwaways, which are abandoned children, or lost and otherwise missing children. Local police departments register missing children with the Federal National Criminal Information Center database, specifying what type of abduction it is. When the categories get conflated, the statistics can become confusing. Take the number 800,000. It's true that 975,000 people were under 18 were reported missing in a one-year period, according to a 2002 study. But of those cases, 200,900 were family abductions, 58,200 were non-family abductions, and only 115 were stereotypical kidnapping. Even these categories can be misleading. Overstaying a visit with a non-custodial parent, for example, could qualify as a family abduction. Some individuals get entered into the database multiple times after disappearing on different occasions, resulting in potentially misleading numbers. These numbers are also supported by the NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. When a child is reported missing to law enforcement, federal law requires that child to be entered into the FBI's National Crime Information Center, also known as the NCIC. According to the FBI, in 2016, there were 465,676 NCIC entries for missing children. Similarly, in 2015, the total number of missing children entries into the NCIC was 460,699. This number represents reports of missing children. That means if a child runs away multiple times in a year, each instant would be entered into NCIC separately and counted in the yearly total. Likewise, if an entry is withdrawn and amended or updated, that would also be reflected in the total. total. In 2016, the NCMEC assisted law enforcement and families with more than 20,500 cases of missing children. The case types are broken down as 90% endangered runaways, 6% family abductions, 1% lost, injured or otherwise missing children, 1% non-family abductions, 2% critically missing youth adults ages 18 to 20. Of the more than 18,500 endangered runaways reported to NCMEC in 2016, 1 in 6 were likely victims of child sex trafficking. Of those, 86% were in the care of social services when they went missing. These percentages are further supported by data from the Klass Foundation.
This is from Henry Lee Lucas. It says, no one wants to believe the cult story. The TV people cut it out. The writers don't write about it.
What was he talking about? What was the context of? You can't just pull this quote and not explain what he was talking about, what the context of it was. It doesn't make any sense. All right, fine. You want to pull random quotes? I'll pull random quotes. How about this? Beyond his recantation, some of Lucas's confessions have been challenged as inaccurate by a number of critics, including law enforcement and court officials.
And then Ted Bundy says, the real scary thing is that there are a lot of people who are not in prison, who are far more successful than I.
We're still going with the quotes taken out of context, huh? All right, fine. Here's a random quote. Murder is not about lust, and it's not about violence. It's about possession. When you feel that last breath of life coming out of the woman, you look into her eyes. At that point, it's being God.
And then Mark Dutroux says, people want to believe that I am the center of everything. They are mistaken. I did things of which I was not the driving force. I was used as an instrument by others who themselves were used as instruments by others.
Oh, this is another random quote, some psycho serial killer. All right, fine. Quoting out of context is an informal fallacy and a type of false attribution in which a passage is removed from its surrounding matter in such a way as to distort its intended meaning. Contextonomies may be both intentional as well as accidental if someone misunderstands the meaning and omits something essential to clarify it, thinking it to be non-essential.
So this stuff does go on. It's very real.
Whatever these narcissistic psychopaths believe was controlling or influencing them, that's part of their psychosis. If you murder someone, you are a murderer. I don't care what path or what belief system you come from. Any psychopath who commits murder, or any crime for that matter, they need to be tried and convicted if found guilty. So it doesn't matter what belief system they come from.
And I would urge you that if you are celebrating this, even if you're doing it on an innocent level, remember that this day that you're celebrating, you're not only celebrating just having fun, playing dress up and eating candy, but you're celebrating a day where children are sacrificed, where children go missing, where animals are sacrificed. And this is a Day of the Dead that's been going on for a long, long time.
I'm going to address each one of these points. First of all, no, there's no evidence that any child sacrifice happens on this holiday, or any holiday for that matter. All of this is fear-mongering and disparaging people. Animal sacrifice for consumption is done all the time. Now, if there are some psychopaths out there who are sacrificing chickens or cats or dogs or whatever, believing that somehow that just sacrificing this animal is going to give them some kind of power or whatever, those people are fucking idiots and they deserve to be locked up. Now, if you're going to sacrifice an animal to consume it, that's a whole nother thing. That is done in supermarkets throughout the entire world.
And I would urge you not to do it because you're opening doors in your life. Any open door that these people can find, they will use against us. Myself and David have talked about this group of witches that are doing reverse Torah portions and reverse feasts in order to try to gain a foothold in our community as well. And so we urge you that if there is anything in your life that you need to take care of it, because this time of year, spiritual warfare is very heavy. And so, David, do you want anything to add to that before we start the show?
Well,
or Donna.
Us of sensationalizing and downright lying when it comes to satanic ritual abuse and the exploitation of children. But the people that know we're telling the truth are the Satanists, the serial killers.
So I contacted David and Donna Carrico a long time ago. At the time, I did not know that much about it, but I wasn't that familiar with satanic ritual abuse, and I thought, well, maybe this is something that I shouldn't write off so quickly. They responded with 11 cases that they had cited. All 11 cases don't have anything to do with any kind of supposed satanic ritual abuse. There is only one case from December of 1987 in which there's any mention of a satanic ritual in the actual case itself. December of 1987, defendant Alan Hadfield was convicted of 4 counts of sodomy on a child, first-degree felonies in violation of Utah Code 76-5-403.1, Supplement 1987, and 3 counts of sexual abuse of a child, second-degree felonies in violation of Utah Code. Defendant moved from a new trial claiming that there was newly discovered evidence. After hearing the trial, squashed the documents filed in support of the motion for a new trial and denied it. Defendant filed this appeal. Defendant's 2 young children testified at trial to various instances of sexual abuse. W, a boy born in 1975, and C, a girl born in 1977, said that their father had sodomized them, required them to perform acts of oral sex with him, and engaged in other sexual acts on several specific occasions. The other main witness for the prosecution was a therapist who had treated the Hadfield children and to whom the disclosures about defendants were initially made. Barbara Snow, Dr. Snow, who holds a PhD in social work, testified at length about her treatment of the Hadfield children and her involvement with the Hadfield parents and others in their Leahy neighborhood whose children were being evaluated and treated for suspected sexual abuse. Dr. Snow was extensively cross-examined about her interviewing and treatment techniques. The activities described by the children involved satanic ritual, costumes and masks, photography equipment, men dressing in women's clothing, and frequent episodes of playing with and consuming human excrement. A specific instance of abuse related to Dr. Snow by W and described by her at trial. For example, the involved defendants removing feces from W's rectum with a spoon and forcing him to play with it.
They are saying the very same thing that we are. And these are things that are said by them after they're arrested, So it is just a very, very solemn time. And, you just said it very well. We need to be in prayer, and we need to make sure that there's no doors in our lives because we're under assault. I guarantee you there's been nobody any more vocal than NYSTV about the issue of satanic ritual abuse and child sacrifice, and we are their target. They hate us, and we are definitely under attack. But that's okay because there is no enchantment against Israel. As long as we keep our focus, we keep our faith in the cross, we're going to be fine. And we're not just going to be fine. We're going to go on and we're going to say more than ever before to draw attention to this subject, to see that the captives are set free, because that's what it's all about.
Amen. I can't stress enough that if we were as serious, if there's several billion supposed Christians in the world, if those several billion Christians were as serious about their God, about the Most High, as these Satanists were about their religion, this world would be a completely different place. I think if even just a tenth of those people that say they're believers were as serious about their Most High, the Father, Yahweh, then this world would be a different place. These people literally risk their freedom. They do everything they can, kidnap children, lay them on an altar, sacrifice them. These people do all kinds of evil workings, spend hours doing magical enchantments. And it's tough to get a regular believer to spend 10 minutes in prayer. So
they just gave all of these statistics about missing persons and all this data. And now they've completely moved away from that. And now what they're doing is they're pushing the belief in their God. This has gone on long enough. NYSTV, John Pounders, David Carrico, you all have been making these accusations. You've been disparaging pagans, witches, occultists, and Satanists without a shred of proof or any evidence. So it's time to put up or shut up. Either you provide evidence and proof that there have been actual satanic rituals where it abused or involved children or any kind of murder of a human being. It's time you provided actual evidence. Provide the proof of the ritual, the people who were involved, and how it is exactly associated with any type of occult activity whatsoever. So if you cannot provide this evidence, if you cannot support your claims, then all the stuff that you are saying is bogus, it's bullshit, and you need to stop spreading misinformation and lies.